My people, today we witness a moment that will be remembered for generations. Burkina Faso has taken a bold step forward, signing a historic $1.2 billion agreement with India, an investment that gives our farmers the power to feed themselves, and our nation the chance to stand tall with dignity and independence. For decades, our country was often described only in terms of hardship, poverty, drought, instability. Headlines painted us as fragile, always surviving, rarely thriving. But on one unforgettable morning in Ouagadougou, everything changed. In a hall filled with cameras, leaders, and Indian diplomats, President Ibrahim Traore announced a deal that left the world stunned. This was not just about money or machines. It was about sovereignty. It was about rewriting the destiny of Burkina Faso. The tractors, tools, and technology became more than farming equipment. They became symbols of freedom. Overnight, the streets erupted with celebration. Flags waved, songs echoed, and memes of tractors filled social media as youth and farmers alike declared the start of a new era. For too long, Burkinabe farmers had been told they would always remain dependent on imports, on aid, on outside powers. But now, for the first time, their government was telling them, you can stand tall, you can build your own future. A tractor was no longer just steel and wheels. It was pride, dignity, and possibility. The world quickly noticed. Western analysts called the deal surprising, some even calling it a gamble. African neighbors watched closely, uneasy at the idea of Burkina Faso rising as a food powerhouse. Meanwhile, in India, the announcement was celebrated as proof of its growing influence in Africa. What was meant to work the soil had also planted seeds of change in global politics. Inside Burkina Faso, the mood was electric. Farmers spoke of hope like never before. Traders imagined busier markets, families dreamed of sending their children to school, and young people saw jobs instead of exile. For a nation long defined by hunger and dependency, this deal was more than economics. It was a declaration that dignity was finally within reach. Agriculture has always been the backbone of our economy, with most of our people depending on it for survival. Yet for decades, farming meant backbreaking labor with little reward. Families worked from sunrise to sunset with wooden plows, only to harvest barely enough to eat. But now tractors promise to turn survival into prosperity. Fields once impossible to manage by hand could be plowed in days. Harvests could be multiplied, losses reduced, and farming elevated to something modern and respected. Unlike past failed modernization attempts, this deal came with something different, a full ecosystem. Training for farmers, workshops for technicians, service hubs for spare parts. India was not just delivering machines, it was building capacity. This is why the deal has the potential to truly transform lives. Farming is no longer about struggle. It is becoming a profession, a career, something young people can be proud of, and the ripple effects stretch far beyond the farms. Every tractor creates jobs: operators, mechanics, transporters, suppliers, factory workers. A farmer with more crops supplies markets, processors, and exporters. Villages once left behind could now thrive with opportunities that keep youth at home instead of risking dangerous journeys abroad. But this is bigger than just food. It is about sovereignty. Burkina Faso has long depended on food imports, vulnerable to global price shocks. A nation that cannot feed itself cannot truly call itself free. With this deal, that is changing. Food independence is political independence, and now Burkina Faso is closer than ever to achieving it. The global impact is already visible. France's long grip on the region has weakened, while Russia and China try to expand influence. But India has chosen a different path, investing not in weapons or only infrastructure, but in the very soil that feeds families. For ordinary Africans, this resonates deeply. For the first time, a partner is offering tools of empowerment rather than aid with strings attached. Of course, challenges remain. Farmers must be trained, infrastructure must expand, and corruption must be fought at every turn. If tractors are only given to elites, the people will lose faith. If roads, warehouses, and factories are not built, harvests could go to waste. But if these hurdles are overcome, this deal could inspire an entire continent. Mali, Niger, Chad, Ghana, Countries facing the same struggles are now watching closely. If Burkina Faso succeeds, others may follow, sparking a continental movement of self-reliance and pride. Social media across Africa is already alive with hope. The tractor, once seen as a simple machine, is now a symbol of a new Africa rising. The $1.2 billion deal is not just an agreement, it is a turning point. For too long, Burkina Faso was defined by fragility. Today, it is defined by courage. The tractors will till the soil, yes, but the true harvest will be dignity, opportunity, and independence. This is not just Burkina Faso's story, it is Africa's story. A continent proving it does not need to wait for handouts, but can instead shape its own destiny. The tractors rolling into our fields are not just farming tools, they are engines of freedom, carrying with them the power to transform lives, communities, and nations. Burkina Faso is no longer waiting for the world's permission. It is building its own future, one tractor at a time.